Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do my update for my pan those eyeshadows. I'm doing this a little bit early, it's about a week early, but I'm excited to film this because I have some nice updates and I didn't want to wait another week. I just wanted to get it going because I love this project, and yeah, I just wanted to do a little bit of rollouts today if that is of interest to anyone. So yes, I have been working on one palette, like a focus palette for the month, and I also have 5 shades. I don't know what happened. I was only supposed to have 4 shades I was working on, like to pan, but last update I rolled in an extra shade without even thinking it, without realizing it. So I've been working on 5 different shades from 5 different palettes, plus the palette. So you can imagine that I have been feeling a little bit overwhelmed because I have been working on some other palettes in other projects as well. So yeah, I'm just like palette overloaded right now, but I do have some pans, so that's exciting, and that's why I want to film early. I actually didn't even plan to film this today, but I just thought, you know what, let's just do it. I worked on some makeup and we're going to do it. So yeah, this is what we're doing, and if that interests you, then just stay tuned. Okay, so I'll start with the eyeshadow that I have used the least this month, which actually is the eyeshadow that I used the most last month. So I guess I just went off it. It is from my Revolution palette. This is the Chilled palette, and it is the green So Natural shade right here. This is what it is looking like right now. So I'll put up on the screen what it looked like last time. You can see that there's now a little bit of a dent forming in this sort of area here. I've only used it 3 times though. And the palette looks the same. Haven't really dipped into any of these shades, I don't think. Maybe not, maybe I have. But yeah, it doesn't look too different. I do like this shade. I've used it a total of 10 times now, so another 10 times, or if I hit pan. So we'll just see how it goes, but it is a really nice green. I would say that's like a Christmassy green. Okay, next up is a shade that I rolled in last month from my Huda Beauty palette. This is the Desert Dusk, and I rolled in the shade Turkish Delight, and I have used this 4 times. So this is what it's looking like right now. It is this really nice shimmer. I was a little bit apprehensive, but I actually am liking it. There's a tiny little bit of a dent, but you know, 4 times is not really going to do much. It was brand new. I think I'd only used it maybe once or twice before. It is a really beautiful shade. I actually put a tiny bit on my eyes today. It's nice. And the flip, like I was concerned that it was like that flip where it goes dark was too dark, but actually it hasn't been an issue because I have some shades where they're beautiful shimmers, but then they have like a flip of like basically black underneath. This is not black, so it still works. It's like a darker maroon flip, so I actually don't mind it. I think it's a really beautiful sparkly shimmer, and yeah, I like it. It's not like super impactful, but I do like the actual color of it. So that one is going to be staying in because I've only used it 4 times. Next one is from my Juvia's Place. This is the Bronze Rustic palette. This one I've used 4 times this month, and I used it 4 times last month, so that is a total of 8 times. You cannot see. There is a teeny tiny little dip, but yeah, this is going to be a hard shade for me to use. I really love this shade, but you know, 4 times using it does really not get me very far. So that is what that looks like. So yeah, you can see I've been, you know, working with some really nice shades. I actually did a look with all of my pan those eyeshadows, and you know, when you swatch out all of the shades, which I'll do in a moment, it kind of looks like they could all been pulled from the Wilderness palette from like Beauty Bay. Isn't that strange? I don't know, I just thought that was interesting. The next shade that I have is from my Just My Luck palette from Colourpop, and it is the Olive You, and that is looking like this. So this one looks a little bit different from last month. I do think that that is showing a little bit more progress. I've only used it 4 times. Last month I used it 5 times, but the difference is I actually used it with a brush a couple times this month, and as opposed to using my finger, it definitely ended up looking a little bit different in the pan. So this one I'm actually excited about. This one I'm starting to think that I could do it because I was thinking I'm not going to be able to do this, like pan this shade, but I feel like I can. I mean, I've just sort of like pushed it down now with my finger to swatch it, but you can see there is more of a dip there than the other shades, so that's nice. And I really like the shade, but you don't need a lot. Like the way I use it, I just don't feel like you need a lot of it, so it's a hard one. But yeah, I've used it 9 times in total, so 11 more times, or if I can hit pan. I'm going to try to hit pan. I really want to hit pan on one of these. I don't want to just like use it 20 times and then roll it out, but it is a struggle. So I am trying my best. Okay, now into the juicy stuff. So let's see which one I'm going to talk about. Let's talk about this one. So this was the shade that I've used the most out of the 5 shades that I've been working on, and it is in my Book of Magic palette from Beauty Bay, and it is the Alchemy shade, and I have hit pan. I am so excited. This one right here, I have used this 8 times. I actually hit pan earlier today because I had a different look on today. So I hit pan earlier today and that was exciting. Actually, when I was putting it on today, I was thinking, oh, you know what? This might take me a little bit of time because it seemed like it was taking longer than this one took, which is the only other shimmer that I've hit pan on in this palette. I don't recall how long this took me. I don't think it was that long, but I do feel like this formula is a little bit more flaky than this one. I think this one, yeah, it was a little bit more firm, but I don't mind that. But yeah, it only took me 8 times. I mean, I had used the palette before, prior. There was a little bit of a dent when I rolled it in. So it was kind of obvious I was going to hit pan, but yeah, just didn't know how long it was going to take me. But yeah, it's a nice little juicy pan too. Like I was just working in the middle and then I hit the pan. So that's pretty cool. This is beautiful. I used it mostly in the inner corner. I did also like top it in the middle of some of my eye looks as well, just to give it a little bit more brightness, because it is a real beautiful, like bright shimmer. But yeah, inner corner mostly. That's how I've been working on it, and that's how I hit the pan when I hit the pan early today. So that's cool. So that one's going to be rolling out. That's my first rollout. And then I do a separate thing where I work on a palette. I used to do 2 palettes a month and then not have even focus shades of other palettes, but then I kind of switched it up. And so I've been working on the Norvina as a focus palette. So it's the like no pan left behind style, but I do want to use it 10 times within the month and every single shade at least once, which I've done that. And if I can hit pan on anything, then obviously that is a bonus. So this is what it's looking like now. I have hit pan, but it's kind of hard to really notice that it's a pan because it doesn't look like a pan. But I have hit pan in this Dreamer shade here, which I actually thought that I would because that was the one that had the biggest dip. It is such a crumbly formula. All of these, maybe apart from Celestial, they are all such a crumbly, shimmery formula that I think anybody could hit pan in these if they really just worked on them. But this one, it looks like it has a little bit of rust in the pan, which I know is pretty common with the ABH palettes. So it's not like a silvery pan, it's more like a black pan under there. So I don't know what's going on under there, but I'm not looking forward to seeing what it looks like. But anyway, yeah, I was super excited to see that. I actually hit pan in that pretty fast. I think it was a week ago, and I'd only been like working on this for like 2 weeks. Like I'm filming this a little early, so or 2.5 weeks. Anyway, something like that. So I have used this palette 10 times. This is always a joy for me to use. I have a lot of shades on today. I just really enjoy it. And this Dreamer shade, I actually only hit pan after 4 uses. And then this one and the base shades, these 2 I used 4 times. The rest, I mean, I'll put on the screen how many times I used them in total, but I think the most was like 2 times for some of them, and then some were just once. So I really didn't like do too much with it, just sort of like played with it when I wanted to do a look. I did dip into it once or twice just to use the Dreamer shade. I use that in my inner corner, and yeah, it's beautiful. I love this palette, and I'm super excited that I have a pan in it now. So I'm gonna be rolling it out, and yeah, that's exciting. So yeah, that has been my color story that I've been working on, including the Norvina, but I'm going to roll to find another 5th shade. I am going to keep going to 5 shades because I mean, if I'm just going to work on these 4, it's going to be a challenge because they're hard shades for me to work on. So I would be interested to see what other shade pulls in. I might regret that. And then I'm also going to roll to see what eyeshadow palette to roll in next to focus on for the month. use every single shade at least once. And if I can hit a pan, I can hit a pan, but I would like to use the palette 10 times as well. And every time I dip into the palette, even if it's just to use one shade, that's one use. But if I dip into the palette to use 5 different shades, that's still only one use. So that's the way I count my uses. So it could take a bit of time. Anyway, so yes, let's do that. It is getting a little dark, so I'd like to wrap this and get this video going before it's pitch black outside. So, you know, I always know the lighting gets a bit funny in my videos because I can never figure out, and I don't have best lighting. I have one little ring light and it is what it is. So I need to invest in more, but yeah, my whole setup is kind of a mess. But anyway, you don't care about that. You want to know what I'm going to roll in. So let's do it. All right, so I'm going to roll for the fish shade now. I have 674 shades in my spreadsheet. I think there might be a couple palettes that I have not added to the spreadsheet yet because I haven't used them yet. But I will try to add them maybe for next time. So far it's 674. So let's just go and see what we get. It is 659, if you can see that. So let me just write, actually I don't need to write that down because it saves it. All right, 659. Oh gosh, that's going to be a new one because I did add a couple new ones in there. So I think that will be a new one. I'm wondering what that is. Okay, let's not think about it. All right, I'm going to roll again, and this time this is going to be the eyeshadow palette that I work on. So 439, so whatever shade that is, I'm going to work on that eyeshadow palette. So I'll be right back. Okay, so number 439 is actually from my Nomad Tokyo palette, and because that was rolled for like the Focus palette, I'm going to re-roll because I have this in another project which I've been doing the No Pan Left Behind and using it 10 times. So I'm just not going to do another month of that. I just don't feel it necessary. I have plenty of other palettes in my collection that need the love that I've already given this. So, I mean, this is what it's looking like right now. And I have, I actually am working on this also in my Zodiac planner. So yes, I am going to roll again for the palette. And then I have seen what the other palette is, and that's kind of exciting. All right, anyway, let's get into it. So this is the 529. Let me see what palette that is. All right, I'm gonna roll again because it is my Lilac You A Lot, and I did this a couple months ago in my color pan, and I worked on every shade, and I had like it as a focus. So I'm gonna roll again. I'm gonna put a new rule in my thing then. Basically, if it's a palette that I've used in the last 6 months as already No Pan Left Behind, I'm not gonna roll it into my Pan Those Eyeshadows because this is not working. 597. They're all in the 500s. What's going on? All right, sorry about that, but you know, I do have to like jump around and make sure that I'm not going to work on a palette that I've already just worked on, and it just makes sense for me. So I have what I need now. All right, I don't even remember what the fish shade was in terms of like the number, but the palette that was rolled in and the shade that was rolled in is the whatever. So this is going to be the 5th shade that I work on. I haven't even looked inside of what shade it is, but basically I've never used this palette. This is from Colourpop, never used this palette before. Actually, I need to check what shade it is. It is the shade 659, which was the shade Not Okay. Oh, okay, cool. That is okay. So it's this one over here. That is cool. That is a shimmer. I like shimmers, and it is goldy. Oh, wow, this looks really, really nice. Okay, I'm just gonna swatch it down here. Whoa, whoa, that is pretty. Okay, so this is my new color story, not including this one, but yeah, look, I think that's pretty cool. All right, so the palette that was rolled in, which I had to keep re-rolling because it wasn't working, but this is a palette that I've never worked on, and it is from Alter Ego. It is the Shadow Kiss. So I actually have tried now 2 Alter Egos. I have 3. This is the 3rd one that I have yet to try, and it is very cool toned. It is not very summery, but I've been wanting to try this, and I don't really care. I don't care that it's not cool, that it's like not summery. I actually like using cool tones in the summer. I just think it works. And yeah, I'm going to be working on this. So use every single shade at least once. And I mean, I'm not going to hit any pan because I've never used it before, but yeah, I'll use it 10 times and every single shade, and then we will come back and we'll see how I feel about it. So let's think about this. This is going to be hard for me to hit any pans, I think, in the next month, because I have new shades here, right? I've never used this palette, never used the Shadow Kiss, and these other ones are already like difficult for me. So I don't know. I think the only realistic one would be this Olive Hue and the So Natural shade, or the natural shade. It's not so natural, it's just the natural shade. I think those two are the only ones I can realistically work on. I have 10 more uses on this one. I have 11 more uses on this one. At Dubious Place, I have 12 more uses. Turkish Delight, I've got 16 more uses, or obviously hit pan. So yeah, I have my work cut out for me. There's nothing here that's gonna be easy. I probably should have kept my Nomad palette if I thought I was gonna be able to get a pan, but you know what? I'm challenging myself. This is what the project is about. And I'm trying to think, I'm wondering if because I have never used this palette, this one, I've never used the whatever, and I'm just going to work on one shade, which is what, this one over here. I'm wondering if, I'm going to want to use the other shades because I've never used them. So I might actually do a no pan left behind on these two, but then still also try to pan this. I don't know. We'll see how far I get on. I'm going to track how many times I use each shade in this palette. I think that's what I'm going to do, just simply because I've never used it before. I don't even think I like this palette. That's why I've never used it. I got it in a bundle and I've just never wanted to pull it. But you never know, it might be my new favorite. Wish me luck. This is going to be tricky. I think this is going to be hard for me. Not that these shades aren't pretty, I really like this, and I think this is very interesting. Obviously, it is the dupe for the Glam palette from Natasha Denona. I don't have that palette, I've never tried that palette, and so yeah. I wanted to get a bunch of cool tones before I spend a lot of money on a cool tone palette, because I just don't know how I truly feel. I've only used cool tone shades like this once or twice before, or have had one or two shades like this, not a whole palette like this. So it's a little bit different, but honestly, I think I'm gonna like it. I mean, that's why I bought it. I just think I'm gonna like it. So, okay, wish me luck. That is my update from my THOSE eyeshadows. I'm glad I'm filming this a little bit early because I'm gonna have an extra week for this time round. So maybe potentially I will have a good update next time. We will have to wait and see. But yeah, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope that you're all doing well. Leave me a comment down below if you want to wish me luck, or just tell me how I can pan these maybe better. I know I can use them for nail polish. I just never get around to doing nail polish. Nail polish always chips on me. I think it always looks great, but I think unless I get like a gel, like properly gelled nails from the salon, they just always chip for me if I do them at home. So I know it's a good way to get through some shades, especially like shimmer shades that are really beautiful, but not necessarily ones that you want to put on your eye. I mean, these are all wearable for me. They're very wearable. I just think some of these are hard to pan. But anyway, let me know what you think of the color story. If you've tried this one as well, if you think I'm gonna like it. I think I'm gonna like it. And also if you think I'm gonna like the whatever. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. I will see you all next time. Bye.